is Eris Mackey. I'm a digital cinematography student at Full Sail University. Blaxploitation is a film genre that emerged in the United States in the 1970s. It was considered ethnic subgenre of the general categories of exploitation films. They were made for urban black audiences but soon expanded across racial and ethnic lines. The word blaxploitation comes from two words, black and exploitation. Its often usage of sexploitation for some of the porn-inflicted films such as Black Emanuel and White, and also Sweetback's Badasses, which carried an X rating. This film was shot by Mario Van Peebles.
The way Sweetback was put together, you knew how controversial it was going to be in terms of the sexual images, in terms of the violence, in terms of the way you were criticized about how women were portrayed. I mean, there was a long list, I'm sure, that you could make up before you shot the first, shot of all of the people you were gonna piss off. Excuse me,
Duh.
But that didn't concern you.
Oh, that was good box office.
Blaxploitation films are mainly set in poor neighborhoods. They use ethnic slurs like jive, sucker, turkey. They also use a lot of different ethnic slurs towards white characters such as Blaxploitation films dealt with many of the social and economical issues that blacks had to face in the 1970s. It also allowed blacks to tell their side of the story, to highlight their heroes and their leaders in their own community.
Jim Brown is Slaughter.
Baddest cat that ever walked the earth.
Blaxploitation films mainly carried an all-black cast, some which included father and son, Melvin and Mario Van Peebles, Richard Roundtree as Shaft, the late Jim Kelly, he played the Kung Fu martial artist, Rudy Ray Moore, who played Dolomite, and Max Julien, aka Goldie. In those black exploitation films, some of them had a cast of ex-pro football players like Fred Williams and Jim Brown, heartthrob Billy D. Williams, who later had roles in the Star Wars trilogy. Blaxploitation films were the first films to ever feature regular soundtracks, which featured funk and soul. Some of these soundtracks had artists like Isaac Hayes and many other artists who were not only part of the soundtracks but were also actors. Blaxploitation films also included several different types of genres. For example, you had your drama, Cornbread and Me. You had horror, Blackula and Hood Horrors. You had martial arts with Kung Fu. You had comedy, Which Way Is Up. You had crime, Foxy Brown, Coffee, and also Shaft. And you even had your coming of age film, one of the greatest films that there is, Cooley High. These are just some of the films that touch on the many different genres. Blaxploitation films have made a major impact on hip-hop culture. Many of today's hip-hop artists such as Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, 50 Cent have remixed or remade songs from some of these movies. Some of them have even created music videos mimicking scenes from the 1970s. Because of these films from the 1970s, many of our black actors are having a chance to be seen on the big screen, but they're also being able to be cast in the mainstream movies. This impact will further go on to create more directors, more actors, more soundtracks produced by the black culture. This has been my presentation.
Talked by these streets, lived in these streets, hustled in these streets, arrested in these streets, protected by these streets. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of these streets, I shall not fear these streets, because I run these streets. And I paid my dues with borrowed pennies, and now I'm a